name is Eric Midget, and we are Malaysia. We'll be bringing you top 4 matchup. Top 8, we have it recorded. We were unable to stream it due to some technical issues. But no worries, we'll have it up on our channel for sure. Now, let's get straight into the top 4 match.
Sorry guys, had my mic sort of turned off. Essentially, welcome to Quill Mall, Kuala Lumpur for the Pokemon TCG Regional Championships here in Malaysia. My name is Ermin Jud, this is Malik Hisham Zaihan, and we bring you top 4 of today's tournament. We had top 8 recorded, unable to stream due to some technical issues, but no worries, we are back and we should be getting straight into the match shortly.
Setting up for top 4. On the left side we have Yiwei, right?
Yeah, but I think so.
We have Yiwei from Malaysia on the left.
Lim Jitmin, I think.
Yiwei and Jitmin.
Yep.
So Yiwei is on the left from Malaysia, and we have Jitmin on the right from Singapore. Now Yiwei is piloting a Turbo Darkrai deck, and Jitmin is playing a Decidueye Toolbox deck with no Vileplume.
So we're just waiting on the judges to start the match.
Players have already set up, so
And we're off.
So Jitmin starts with a level ball, allowing him to do his first search of the deck.
Now both these players navigated through their top 8 matchups.
So Jitmin is able to find his forest of giant plants from the trainer's mail. And proceeds to play a Sycamore with no cards in his hand.
Alright, here is playing a big scene showdown. The standings is up for Masters Division players. The standings, you may proceed to the usual hall and check out where you stand.
Right, so just a little recap on Jitmin's deck. It is quite an unorthodox Decidueye and friends list. No Vileplume inside, which should give Yue some leeway into using his item cards.
So we see a Sycamore from Yiwei. And Yue plays his first max elixir, getting the dark energy on the bench dark rider. He just retreated to the bench. Plays an escape rope.
Notice the Apparel City bumping the forest. Apart from two Darkrai, I assume, Yui doesn't really have anything else going for him.
So Yue ended his turn with a one-card hand.
And just
Not very
draws and
ideal.
passes. Yep. Yeah, just a very dead hand here from Yue. Jimin taking full advantage of the situation. Loading up that Lugia.
Jimin does the Feather Arrow on, well, the Darkrai, the only Pokemon Yue has in play. So Yue doesn't really have much, playing the Lysander that he draws, attempting to stall with the Shaman. And looks like he scoops.
So very quick game one here.
So very quick game one, with Yue not being able to draw much and choosing to scoop. So we now wait as both players set up for second game.
Not the kind of match we'd like to see, I guess, from a very interesting matchup. A very unorthodox Decidueye list versus a streamlined Turbo Darkrai. Both Yue and Jitmin powerhouses in their respective countries, Malaysia and Singapore, respectively. Yue having two top 8s at the International Series this season, one in London and another in Sao Paulo. Jitmin having recorded what I think was a top 32 at Melbourne and a win at the Manila Special Event just 2 weeks ago.
And he was
So
piloting the same deck in Manila, if I'm not mistaken, right? The Decidueye Toolbox deck.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So second game, Yue is going first with an Evil Tile start, I believe. If I can see through that glare correctly. And he plays a Sycamore to get a fresh hand.
We see a forest of giant plants bumping that silent lap. Grabs an end of that Trinus Mill. Goes for an Ultra Ball. We see a weakness policy, I think, from Jitmin's list. Interesting. So both these players coming in after Swiss seated in the top 4. Yue coming in first seed and Jitmin in 4th. If I'm not mistaken, the top 4 after Swiss are the exact top 4 that progress to the top 4 of Cut. Chun Yue, Kaiwen for Kaiwen from Australia, Alex Yeo from Malaysia, and Jitmin from Singapore. So we still have so we do see an end coming out from Jitmin. For those of you just joining us, welcome to the stream. We are in top 4 of Cut between Chun Yue of Malaysia and Lim Jitmin of Singapore. We had a day 1 yesterday of 134 Masters, 8 rounds of Swiss. We weren't able to bring the top 8. We have it recorded and will be uploaded to our channel at a later time. But essentially what we have here is a Turbo Duck versus a Decidueye matchup that does not run Moblum.
So it looks like Jitmin has been able to get a turn 1 Decidueye here. Make that 2 Decidueyes on his first turn in this game.
See an Ultra Ball from UA. Probably grabbing a
He grabs the
Hoopa.
Hoopa
Yep.
to bring out his other Darkrai's into play,
And a
as
Shaman.
well as a Shaman. Yue gets one Dark Energy out from that Max Elixir onto the bench Darkrai. And he plays a second Max Elixir. And that is 2 out of 2 Max Elixirs for Yue.
Still quite a tall order here for Yue to come back from. He did give up a game in game 1 due to not having really anything to work with. No supporter for a couple of turns. And essentially the threats on Jimin's side of the field are all above 200 HP at the moment. So we have two Decidueye GX at 240 HP, one Lugia EX with a Fighting Fury Belt at 220 HP. It'll be some time before these Darkrai are able to actually knock those out in one hit. But it's not impossible. Just probably increasingly difficult. I apologize for the glare, ladies and gentlemen. Just a few minute details we've been unable to solve so far. Just an Oblivion Wing from the Yveltal. And Jimin immediately replying with an N. We see a Forest bumping the Parallel City. Quite an even matchup so far. We did see Jimin playing, or to say using the Hollow Hunt GX very early this time around. Going for Feather Arrow now onto
That is 2 Feather Arrows
two Feather Arrows, yep.
on the bench Darkrai.
And just a pass. Here comes an escape rope. And Jinmin decides to give up the Lugia. And you now introduces a Darkrai with 2 Dark Energies and a Fighting Fury Belt. This Darkrai should be able to pile on enough pressure on Jinmin's side of the field. Should be in 2-hit range from this Dark Pulse. I think that's for 130 damage. Correction, I think that's
130, could be 150.
150, yeah. My
150.
correction, I wasn't able to see the
He's
dark energy
got
on the far side.
he's got one energy on the glaring Darkrai
Yep.
on his far left, so that should be 150.
Important thing to note is that Yue does not have any EXP shares down, but he has 3 of his Fighting Fury belts. Just 3 Fed Arrows and a pass.
So Jimin struggling to get his DCEs out.
Here comes the Trainer's Mill. So Yue essentially has 7 Darkness energy already in play. Grabs an Olympia off of the Trainer's Mill.
Plays a second Trainer's Mail.
Correction, earlier he does have a EXP share down. It's actually on the Yveltal.
Is that also one on the Shaman?
No, I think the Shaman is without a tool. I think that's a... is that an EXP share or Floatstone? It's an XP share, yeah. So there's 2. Takes a knockout on the Lugia EX, and Yue has drawn first blood. Jimin promotes a fresh Decidueye GX with a Floatstone now. So Yue did play that Olympia the last turn to heal some damage off his Darkrai. ADC comes down on the bench to Decidueye GX. You see a retreat and a Razor Leaf.
So Yue plays the Versus Seeker for Olympia again to switch his Darkrai back on the bench.
So that's a Dark Paw for a ton of damage. So that should be for 190 damage, I would presume. So Jimin takes a knockout on the bench Darkrai via Feather Arrow. So is it Hex Maniac coming from Jinmin? Was it? He probably has a read on Yue not having much to work with in his hand. Now preventing the Shaman as well. Attaches a second energy onto the Hoopa EX and I would think a Flowstone and a Sycamore for 7, discarding the Shaman.
That is a very thin deck on Yue's side.
And takes a knockout on the Decidueye. Yeah, it's worth to note that Yue probably expended quite a bit of resources to get to this level.
Well, he is down to his last 2 prizes.
Yeah, and the target of choice would probably be the Shaman EX on the bench, which Jitmin should be able to remove thanks to his Sky Return. So Yue still has 7 Darkness Energy in play. More than enough to knock out a Fury Belted Shaman. Well, I mean, thanks to fighting Fury Belt, of course.
So Jimin does choose to remove the Shaman. He's attached DCE to it.
They'll probably go for the Sky Return, right?
Probably, more definitely. So he retreats to the Shaman and does a Sky Return. That was his Feather Arrow, so he has not attacked yet. As Jimin promotes is
Roll it. Yep, so forcing Yue to have that Lysander if he wants to get any damage on his Decidueye GXs. So grabs an Olympia. Now that Darkrai should be out of double Feather Arrow range. And introduces a Yveltal EX. Ah, here comes an escape rope. Now, great play here. Forcing out the Decidueye GX. Another Darkrai comes down with a Darkness Energy. So that's 8 energy on Yue's side of the field. For 190 damage. Now Jimin does have a very stacked hand. Here's a Trainer's Mail, grabbing a Professor Sycamore. Both these players have run quite low on resources by this point. Yue looking to force a Game 3 decider after giving up Game 1. Jimin taking full advantage of a very slow start on the Darkrai deck's part. Essentially not getting any draw supporters in that Game 1. See a DCE come down? No? So it comes back down to whether UA is able to have that Lysander for game. But there is still 30 damage on that bench Decidui. So essentially another Darkness Energy attachment would give UA 210 damage next turn. So drags out the Shaman via Lysander.
He does a Feather Arrow on the bench Darkrai.
So UA just
And
shows
UA
that he has
has-
game. Yeah, that was a brilliant play there from UA. Knowing exactly what he needed.
So that's game 2 to UA, and we have a third game.
Right, so a pretty interesting game in game 2. And well, we have a very entertaining game 3, I'm sure.
Hopefully,
UA.
we'll see a game in game 3.
No, I mean, yeah, we will see a game 3. Yeah, right? Right, so thanks for tuning in. If you've just joined us, we are live from Quill City Mall, Kuala Lumpur, bringing you the top 4 matchup at the 2017 Malaysia Pokemon TCG Regional Championships against powerhouses in their respective country, Lim Jit Min of Singapore and Chun Yue of Malaysia. Now, as the players set up game 3, the other top
4
top 4
is
matchup.
between Kaiwan and Alex.
Yep.
So Kaiwan of Australia against Alex, also from Malaysia. So play set up. So we see Jimin with a Shaymin start and Yiwei with a Darkrai as his starting active Pokemon. So we have Jimin performing his first search and bringing out a Rowlet with his level ball.
Right, so starting with the Shaman isn't always appropriate. I think that's a weakness policy on the Rowlet. I guess Jimin's just trying to thin his hand. So see a Dartrix in his hand, but no Forest, I think. A fighting Fury Belt onto the Shaman and an N. Essentially
Yiwei
Yue,
revealing his hand.
a pretty dead one. So Yue draws a fresh hand of 6 from quite an atrocious starting hand. And Jimmy just passes without playing any cards from his end to 6. You see a Trader's Mill come down.
It looks
From
like we
Yue.
have news from the other top 4. Judging by body language, looks like Kaiwan has advanced to the finals.
Right, so now we are just in the final game here of the other remaining top 4 matchup. See a Flowstone come down on the active Darkrai, a Silent Lab, and an N. So we do know these Decidueye lists play 4 forests of giant plants, but essentially what Yue is saying, no forests, no Shamins for your next turn. Now I'm not too sure how badly this will bite him, because he's locked out of his own Shaman as well, and it just passes. Without any other Darkrai or basic Pokemon on his bench. So Jimin preps a Ultra Ball. Grabbing a Dartrix. And a Sycamore. Trainer's Mill here, grabbing a Flowstone from Jinmin. And passes
So
to the back.
Jinmin still unable to find his forest of giant plants.
We do see a Paracity come down. And a VS Seeker for an N.
As well as an energy attachment from
Yeah.
Yue.
So slow starts, I would reckon, for both these players in Game 3. To see a Trainer's Mill from Yue. Hoping to draw into something. An Ultra Ball would be preferred. Doesn't seem like it though. Grabs a Sycamore. So we do see another Darkrai come down. And just a Dark Pulse for 60.
damage.
Yep. Now we do know there's a Decidueye GX on the bench and a Dartrix from Jitmin. Locked out of his remaining Pokemon until he's able to replace that Paracity. And he just passes.
That's one Feather Arrow on the active Darkrai and a pass from Jinmin. As Yue plays an Ultra Ball. For a Hoopa, as he plays Counter Ring.
Benches a couple of Darkrai. A Float Stone, I think, on that Hoopa. And then a setup. Another Trainer's Mail from Yue. I've seen the sheer consistency of the Darkrai deck once it has access to its items. So Yue will definitely be taking 2 prizes this turn.
He grabs an Ultra Ball off the Trainer's Mail.
We gotta wonder where are all his max elixirs. Haven't seen a single one so far on Yue's side of the field. Would he be grabbing another Shaman here? No? Looks like he's just thinning his deck. So goes for a
Sycamore.
Sycamore, yeah?
And we finally see an elixir in Yiwei's hand.
An
Puts
XP
down.
share comes down. Yep.
Yep. There is the energy.
Right, so finally Yue gets the ball rolling with energy in play. Chipmin ultra balling for a Decidueye Jax. And
Well,
a
he's
Sycamore.
able to get two Decidueye GXs in play without having a single Forest Giant plants on Jimin's side.
Yep. Not the best scenario, I would think, but better than nothing.
And we see a first Forest Giant plants coming down. Benches a Lugia with DCE attached. So some calculations here in Jimin's mind on where to put Feather Arrows.
So I think he's 20 short on that Darkrai right now. Or 10 short. Yep, that should be 10 short. More energy in play for Yue. Probably think he's in the driving seat this match. Essentially, he should be seeing more of his max elixir soon. But we do see quite a few dark energy in his hand. So not ideal by any means. But he does have two more Darkrai EX ready to go on his bench. Should be expecting a knockout here on his Darkrai the following turn. And maybe in his best interest to promote an ideal active Pokemon this turn. In any case, his EXP shares won't trigger because the knockouts that happen via Feather Arrow would not trigger those EXP shares. Now, if you're just joining us, welcome to the stream. We are in the top 4 matchup between Chun Yue and Lim Jit Min. We're down to the wire here in Game 3. Both players having edged each other out in the first two matches, first two games. Essentially, we already have a finalist. Kaiwan from Australia has edged out Alex of Malaysia for a spot in the finals of the regional championships here in Malaysia.
It looks like Yue is about to do a Dark Pulse on the Decidueye.
So I presume that's for 100 damage.
So that's a Feather Arrow knockout on the active Darkrai, not triggering the EXP shares.
Anyway, promotes the
Yveltal.
Yveltal, baby Yveltal with the AXP share. Now the damage will keep flowing from Jinmin's side of the field. He has not one but 3 Decidueye GX and a Lugia EX on the bench with a DCE already. Chooses to retreat his Decidueye? No, yes. So seeing a Lysander here from Jinmin. Going for the bench Darkrai with 2 Darkness Energy. Now it's offering up the Lugia EX. And we should see... Oh no, even more damage. So that should be 100 damage from the Lugia. And Jinmin going for 2 more Feather Arrow shots onto that Darkrai. Yep, so 140 damage on that Darkrai now. Now the question is, does Yue have a Fighting Fury Belt? That could ruin the math on Jinmin's end, essentially putting it out of triple Feather Arrow range. He does have another Darkrai ready on his bench. Now the Lugia being a slight thorn in Yue's side here. 180 HP with 3 energies attached. I think the only 2 cards that Yue could use in this scenario to his advantage would have been
Plays on a Sycamore.
yeah. So plays a Sycamore. I was going to say that an Olympia would be great for Yue.
He does find the Fighting Fury Belt.
Yep. So
for the Darkrai.
essentially, still out of triple Pedero range, which is great. Now he has to hope that the final Dartrix doesn't evolve into a Decidueye as well. So just 110 damage from the Darkrai, Dark Pulse. Goes for an N on Jinmin's side. So he has to find that Decidueye GX distant to get a knockout on the active Darkrai before even attacking. I think it's been a stellar performance from both players so far. Both knowing exactly what are their outs, what they intend to get.
Well, the Feather Arrow Decidueye knockout on Darkrai would really swing the matchup into Jinmin's favor.
The question is, does he get it? Doesn't seem like it. We do see a fighting free belt. Now, one play that we need to remember from UA last turn was a Parallel City making his bench limited to 3 Pokemon, removing that Shaman from play, ensuring that Jimin has to grab 6 prizes the hard way. So we should be going down to the wire here, guys, in this top 4 matchup between UA and Jinmin. The score is at 1-1, 1 game apiece for these two juggernauts of the game. Jinmin considering his Feather Arrow snipes. He does have 3 Decidueye GXs out right now.
So he retreats the Lugia. Or not.
Yep, so UA calling out his move, not allowing him to take it back. Interesting play here by Jinmin. I'm not too sure if I would agree with it. Promotes the Decidueye or not. He's probably trying to line up a Hollow Hunt this turn to grab back some resources. But if UA is able to fire off an N here, that essentially would negate that Hollow Hunt. So let's go for 60 damage. Sorry, 6 damage counters.
From the Feather Arrow.
Yep.
And he is going for the Hollow Hunt by the looks of it.
So grabbing back some resources, a VS Seeker, a DCE, and an Ultra Ball. So really hoping that UA doesn't have the N here, essentially giving him, well, the nuts. The 4th Decidueye GX, a DCE for a Razor Leaf, and a VS Seeker for Lysander, like, essentially. So yep, it's UA's turn right now. So that Darkrai is 100% going down. No Olympia play would save it. I think it's been a stellar performance from both players here today. See attachment coming down onto the baby Yveltal. He does have the Lysander here, so he should be going for the Decidueye on the bench. Yep, he does. And takes a knockout for 2 prizes, putting himself down to 2. Now this gets interesting. Jinmin would definitely be able to knock out this.
Darkrai with the Feather Arrow.
Yep, and I would definitely assume UA is going to promote the Yveltal on the bench. But Jinmin does have that VA Seeker, so that Lysander is definitely in his hand, or at least is accessible to him. We're going down to the wire once again. The winner of this match goes on to face Kaiwan of Australia in the finals of the Malaysia Pokemon TCG Regional Championships 2017. We are live from sunny Kuala Lumpur here today. Almost at the end of what was a 134 Masters tournament with 9 rounds of Swiss in day 1.
He's going for the Ultra Ball here.
Yep, should be for that Decidueye GX.
He has drawn into it.
Oh, alright.
It's already there.
So he does have access to a second Lugia. Yep, so he does choose to thin his deck. Grabbing out that Lugia. Getting a DCE on it, I would presume. Yep, so
It looks like he played a Sycamore with the Versiker.
I'm not too sure. I think it was an N.
It's the N.
Yeah, it was an N. Yep, takes a knockout on the Darkrai, and UA actually elates the show to move the Darkrai EX into the active. Now,
Without looking at his hand, I think.
yeah. Interesting play. Two more Feather Arrow snipes. And here comes 60 damage from the... Oh, sorry, 80 damage from the Lugia EX. So that should be 120 damage on UA's Darkrai now. And did he draw into enough to seal the game? He will need quite a bit. He's definitely down on resources. We can assume that Jitmin will definitely take game next turn. Unless UA is able to find a way out. And he just scoops.
And
there we
UA
go.
scoops.
Yep, so he definitely went down to straight to the wire. Jitmin edges UA 2-1. Interesting to note that we probably will never know what was in UA's hand. Also, it was 3 Darkness Energy in UA's hand after that end. So that's... There you have it, our 2 finalists. So Lim Jitmin of Singapore will take on Kaiwan of Australia. The finals coming up really shortly. Stay tuned guys, and we'll see you in just a bit. and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are at the finals of the Malaysia Pokemon TCG Regional Championships 2017 here in Quill City Mall, Kuala Lumpur. Now, my name is Aaron. This is
I'm
Darren.
Darren.
We're from the Rainbow Wing, bringing you coverage, and we are at the end of this grueling two-day event. 134 Masters, 8 rounds of Swiss, and now the finals.
Yeah. So we're on to the finals here. We have Kaiwen from Australia who's playing a Deciplume with Toolbox. And his opponent in the finals is Lim Jit Min from Singapore who is playing Decidueye GX Toolbox without any Vileplume. So it's a bit of an interesting take here.
Yep, so we're definitely going to have a very interesting matchup. Kaiwen mentioned that Jimin's deck is my deck, but without 6 dead cards. I would assume referring to the Vileplume line in his deck, but we shall see.
Yeah.
Essentially, a turn 1 lock by Kaiwen will still slow Jimin down in that sense,
Exactly.
right? Things like Fighting Fury Belt, even Trainer's Mill,
Exactly.
blocking those cards out is still key in this matchup.
It
And
limits the resources of
Yeah.
Jit Min if he can get the turn 1 Vileplume.
yep, so players are shuffling up and drawing through their cards. Let's get right into it. Here we go. So
Alright.
interesting to see who wins the coin flip. I'm not too sure, but we will see in a bit, I guess.
So technically a Deciplume near mirror. Just one with Vileplume, one without. Interesting take, so to see who will reign supreme in Malaysia.
And Kaiwen starts off with a Jolteon, and he starts first, which is always an advantage. And Jinmin actually starts with a Shaman. We see an Ultra Ball from Kaiwen here.
Discarding a DCE early on. Probably can Hollow Hunt it back into his hand later. But losing some important resource here by Kaiwen in the
So
early
both,
stages.
so both these players fighting out to be crowned regional champion here in Malaysia.
For 2017.
Yep, so essentially top 8 consisted of 2 Singaporeans, 3 3 Malaysians, 3 Indonesians, and 1 Australian.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
Kaiwen does go for the turn 1 Oddish. It'll be interesting to see if he does get the lockup.
This is the most important setup here for Kaiwen to get a turn 1 Vileplume. Not too sure on what Jitmin is able to do if he gets turn 1 Vileplume.
So we do see and here's an interesting tag. We saw both of the tag cards in Kaiwen's list. One Beetle EX and an Espion EX.
Yep, the Espion EX kind of won him the game in top 4.
Okay.
Top 4 and I think top 8 too against Jason. So it came in clutch. So DCE, oh no, sorry, that's a Rainbow Energy into the Jolteon EX.
He is threatening a knockout on that Shaman next turn.
Yeah, exactly. Piling on the pressure here in game 1 by Kaiwen.
We do see a flow stone on the Oddish. I think Kaiwen, considering his options, goes for a level ball. I assume that's going to be a Rowlet. Yep.
No, it's a Gloom.
No, Gloom. All right, so he's really prioritizing the Vileplume this match, which I think is the right move here.
Essential. It's a very essential part of setting up.
So we know Jinmin's deck is filled with much stronger attackers.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
do know in the last matchup there were 2 Lugia EX. We also know that he plays Fighting Fury Belt.
Yeah, essentially like, kind of like a fairy box, but this time with Deciplume to help. Decidueye to help putting in the damage early on, help getting the perfect magic numbers.
Now we do need to note that Jinmin does not have any Rainbow Energy. The last we checked, I could be wrong about that though.
So See a pass.
Yep. A Decidueye Jax on the bench for Kaiwan. 20 damage now onto that Shaman EX in the active.
So now it is vulnerable to a Razor Leaf too. Maybe some time later in the match.
Yep, definitely.
Alright. So I think Jitmin is using an Ultra Ball, and I think he's discarding a Revitalizer. And not sure what's the second card that he discarded. He's going for another Shaman. So I think he's in a bit of a trouble here if he doesn't get anything from the Shaman. So here you go, set up for
For 3.
3.
So essentially, Kaiwan started with what could be one of the best starters he could ask for in his early game, especially when Shamans are on deck.
Not to mention Jolteon EX is free retreat, so essentially more versatile as a starter.
So we see a Mewtwo from Evolutions.
Oh. I think he just needs something to be a wall. Yeah, definitely be a wall for against this Jolteon EX.
Yep, I can see that.
Yeah, so it is becoming a wall for this turn. But Jinmin got nothing down. No Rowlet. No nothing.
No Oddish, no Rowlet.
Yeah.
Essentially, he's back a turn now, right? We have a Decidueye GX on Kaiwan's side of the field.
Yeah.
And here comes an N.
Alright, and then not too keen on the end actually. Perhaps maybe he's thinking Jinmin is hiding something, but Jinmin didn't play much.
Well, we did see, I think it was a Hex Maniac in Jinmin's hand.
Wasn't too sure, but it is an end now, so we can't get that information back.
So Kaiwan does get the Valplume and the DCE. This is key.
Alright.
Another Rowlet, I presume? So does Kaiwan set up the lock? That's the question right now.
Kaiwan just had to set up, just had to play down everything and then set up the Valplume lock. And I think it's game after that.
Yep, so we do see the Valplume down. Jolteon should deal 70 damage. Kaiwan does go for
Fed
another
Arrow.
Fed Arrow.
And 70 Flash Ray onto the Evolution Mewtwo. So it's back to Jitmin's turn, and it's been Valplume locked here. And just a Rowlet and a Dartrix evolution, and just an attach of an energy. And it's already Kaiwan's turn actually. And Kaiwan just Feather Arrows the Dartrix and just Flash Ray for the knockout on that Evolution Mewtwo. So
Well, Jimin did get a Decidueye down.
yeah, he does get the Decidueye down, but it could be slightly too late here as Kaiwan already has the advantage. Now at least he can do damage against this Jolteon EX. See a Feather Arrow from Jinmin. And a Razor Leaf. I presume a Razor Leaf? Yes, it was a Razor Leaf. So back to Kaiwan's turn. Set up for 2. Not sure that what he really wanted. Essentially, Jitmin is just relying on this one Decidueye GX here in his active position. If this goes down, it's probably over. It is his last line of defense.
And we do see 2 more Rowlets on Kaiwan's side of the field. Those are just waiting to evolve into Decidueye GX here. So a Fed Arrow onto the active Decidueye. Now what is Kaiwan contemplating here? Is he keen to retreat the Jolteon?
Not sure what he's planning to do here. Because that Jolteon is getting knocked out next turn.
Yeah, so he gives a... Yeah, so he does attack for 70, a Flash Ray, putting that Decidueye at 120 damage.
So you see an N? Now, Kaiwan is putting the pressure on Jitmin because Jitmin only has one
The Sidwai
singular
checks.
attacker.
Yep.
Yeah, it's his only wall and attacker. But Kaiwan still has a few more resources on his bench. So Jitmin here has to dig deep if he wants to keep up. And he does get his Lugia EX. And an Espion EX. So both players have an Espion EX. It's gonna be key. Miraculous Shrine, if I'm not mistaken, is attack. All the highest evolution of your opponent's Pokemon.
Yep, which is a tech card that could come crucial here for Kaiwan. Now I presume he's going to go for Hollow Hunt here to actually
Yeah.
retrieve back that Jolteon, because Jolteon would be key against the Lugia EX
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Jitmin.
It totally.
Unless, of course, he could go for a Razor Leaf this turn with the adequate number of Fed Arrows,
Ferrero, yes, to get the nice number.
which he will need two.
Yeah, he needs one more, right?
No, he will need, he need one more, exactly. So he does go for the Pharaoh there, 420. And now the question is, would Kaiwan be going for...
Oh, it's not gonna
Right,
go
so
for
he splits the Fed Arrow. I think he does not have the DCE, unfortunately.
Oh, all right. So you see
Yep,
a
so
Hollow
yeah,
Hunt.
so there was another Decidueye Jax on the bench.
Yep.
Just not having the DCE required. He grabs one of the the Hollow Hunt.
Yep.
I almost said Jung Hunt.
Well, it is reminiscent to Zhang
Yep.
in a big way. That was
Grabbing
such
two
a
D-
big mechanic in the past.
Yep, true. Grabbing two DCEs here and an N.
Interesting.
So we do see Jitmin having a huge huge hand here. Definitely not being able to expend most of his items now. So an N by Kaiwan could set Jitmin back if Jitmin isn't able to discard that hand via Sycamore.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're just joining us, we are in the finals of the Malaysian Pokemon TCG Regional Championships here at Quill City Mall, Kuala Lumpur. Kaiwan versus Jitmin. Australia versus Singapore. We had a top four of two Malaysians, a Singaporean and a Australian. Unfortunately, no local player will be able to reach the finals this time round.
It was close. Yue almost made it, basically.
Yep, that was a stellar matchup in top four
Yes, top
between Jinmin and Yue. So essentially here, Jinmin has retreated his Decidueye.
He's trying to save his Decidueye GX here. I think he's accepting the fact that one of his Pokemon is getting knocked out, and I think he doesn't want that his Decidueye GX is the one getting knocked out.
But a Lysander here would be key for Kaiwan.
Yeah.
Goes for an N.
No, N. Alright. Before he takes a knockout, alright. Alright, so here's the result of the N.
Just a lot of items on Kaiwan's side of the field.
I think it's almost all items and maybe an N.
Sycamore, I think.
Oh, Sycamore,
Yeah.
right.
So it does have gas going into next turn. Essentially having a way to also get rid of those items from his deck.
But
He
not,
should be able to take a knockout here.
Yep. But he can't do, besides that, he can't do much.
I would assume there is 80 damage on his active Decidueye.
I suppose so. So we see a Razor Leaf knockout here onto the Shaymin EX. Taiwan going down to 3 prizes here. Can Jitmin capitalize?
Yeah, essentially one energy attached to the to the Espion would get him a prize here.
Yeah, exactly.
Goes for a Lysander play, right?
I think he's trying. Probably if I were Jitmin, yes, I would try to get a Lysander play.
Brings out the Rowlet, I would think. Yep, goes for the Rowlet.
All right. So that Rowlet's not going to survive much longer.
You mean the Decidueye GX?
Nope, the Decidueye, yes, but this Rowlet in front here, in the active position. All right, it's got.
So hang on, I think Jitmin did not draw um, an adequate prize there. Oh no, hang on,
He used
my bad.
Miraculous
Yeah, he used
Shrine.
Miracle Shrine. So the prize would be a
One.
non-EX.
Yeah.
Yep, my bad. That is something to consider.
It is a slow, tedious way of winning with Miraculous Shine, but it gets the job done. Especially the difference of HP from Dartrix to a Decidueye GX is massive.
But this is key here because Kaiwan is now able to access every single item in his hand, and we know from the previous Sycamore that it was a hand filled with
Yeah,
items.
exactly. So this can be a big turn here by Kaiwan.
Yep. I think it's I don't know. It did give Jimmy one prize, but it's gonna give Kaiwan
Leeway,
a
more resources
yeah,
to splurge
basically,
on. Yeah,
and still get a lockup
yeah,
in time.
exactly. Ultra Ball away, the Sycamore and an Ultra Ball.
Grabs another Dartrix. So we do know there is another Rowlet in Kaiwan's hand.
Not so sure.
Yep, I think he drew it off his top deck.
Oh, alright.
Yep, you see it there.
Exactly. So that's really good here. Get to set up more Decidueyes.
Whiffs on the Trainer's Mail.
Kaiwan's deck's really thin right now. He has used most of his item cards essentially now.
You see Lugia come down with a DCE.
Yep.
And yep,
Yep, he got a DC and a Lysandra for next turn. So this could be a big turn.
but essentially there's no energy on any of the Pokemon except for the Lugia.
He can't retreat, yep, he's stuck.
But he still is able to churn out some damage, 40
Yep.
damage every turn via Federo. And I think it's Jimmy Scoop in game 1.
Yeah, I think he just can't come back, there's too much damage. And slightly slow start due to the turn 1 Ball Plume by Kaiwan. Essentially, I think just giving the momentum towards Kaiwan.
Yep, so Kaiwan takes game 1 in this best of 3 finals.
Yeah, exactly. So
We did a very interesting matchup. Decidueye Valplume with Rainbow Energy versus a very streamlined Decidueye list
Yeah.
without the Valplume line.
it's a more aggressive approach for Decidueye compared to the Valplume lock, because that's more of a slowly wither away your opponent's HP with Feather Arrow. Yeah, interesting. Definitely interesting. Same kind of a deck, but totally different way of playing it.
Yep, so Kaiwan definitely gaining some momentum there from game 1. We shall see if he's able to close out these finals 2-0, or will Lim Jitmin bite back and force the game 3 decider.
Well, this time Jitmin is going first, I presume. I don't think he's gonna let Kaiwan go first.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, a turn 1 plume from Kaiwan is still going to be huge.
Yeah. I mean, it could happen. It just happened in game one, so we might. Let's see if Kaiwen can, set it up again, and we see a mulligan from Jitmin. So more resource for Kaiwen in his starting hand, and he does have an oddish.
Looks like a very odd hand, I think, from Kaiwen. An Oddish and a Shaman is two basic Pokemon.
Again,
A second mulligan from Jinmin,
Oh,
giving
this is-
Kaiwen two cards here.
this is not looking good here for Jitmin from the get-go.
It's
Giving-
not too bad. It's just two cards that he could possibly end away anyway.
Yeah, it needs. I think an end is essential. I mean, giving your opponent 2 free cards in his starting hand, especially if he's playing Valplume, yeah, it's not the ideal way to give, to have it in the finals. All right, so here we go.
Yeah, but quick shout out to those tuning in. We are actually at our highest ever number of spectators with 40 people watching. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We are the Rainbow Wing, bringing you coverage of the Pokemon TCG Regional Championships 2017 here in Malaysia.
So we see Jitmin here starting off with a Lugia EX and Kaiwen with an Oddish. So Jitmin going for a level ball here, probably going his deck for a Rowlet and checking what's price perhaps as a first search. So yes, there is a Rowlet. Make it 2, make it double. And it's an Ultra Ball. So this is going to be a Shaman EX here.
I'm discarding a VS Seeker, not too huge in this matchup, I presume, because there is a Valplume coming up quite shortly.
Yeah, exactly. So Jitmin's turn 1 here is essentially his most important turn. Because just in case, if Kaiwen does set up his own turn 1 Valplume, that will be it for Jitmin. So this turn here is his only explosive turn here.
We see a Forest come down. Do we see Dartrix? We see a Mewtwo come down, and I think that's a Ultra Ball again. He's cutting 2 Decidueye GXs, I think. Which probably could indicate that he has a Revitalizer,
Yeah,
or trying to fish for one.
perhaps.
So essentially having no Dartrix but 2 Decidueye GX. Setting up for 5.
Like I said, I think he knows this is his only turn here to get down as much resources as he can onto the field before Kaiwen set up this Valplume. So Kaiwen just, looking on.
Now interesting, would Jinmin try to go for the donk here?
Oh, he is. I think he sensed blood in the water. Oh, he got 1 Dartrix.
Trying to fish for the Revitalizer, I presume? Are we going to see a donk in this game 2 of the finals?
But Jitmin is going first, so he can't attack. Only feather arrows.
Yeah, so essentially what I mean, enough feather arrows to
But
come
his
down.
bench is full.
Oh yeah, hang on. There's no real way. My bad. I was presuming that he did not bench the Shaman earlier.
That Mewtwo kind of blocked it, but I think he's playing the safer route.
Yeah, essentially drawing as many cards as he can.
Yeah, he's just trying to draw as much as he can before the lock comes down.
Here comes the Floatstone on the Lugia EX. Which I assume is going to be replaced by good old Tapu Lele.
Well, Tapu Lele does have its merits of getting a supporter card from your deck, but essentially when it comes to pure power per energy, Lugia still has its own, merit.
Yeah, I mean
with
Deep Hurricane.
yeah.
It's still quite an attack that most people overlook.
Oh, Ultra Ball. Discarding 2 Forest or Giant Plants since it's not needed anymore. Since there's 1 in play already by Jitmin.
Yeah, essentially a free Pokemon search here by Kaiwen.
Yeah. So not sure if this time Kaiwan want to prioritize his Vileplume lock.
I think he should, if even if it's to remove that easy price in his active position right now. So he does grab a Rowlet and a Lugia and a level ball.
Level ball. Another Rowlet.
And a
we see a
Shaman
setup.
for 3. So no Dartrix yet, I think.
See a Rainbow Energy onto the Rowlet. Probably thinking which direction does that he wants to go. So
It
this
was for
gonna
yep. So discarded a Revitalizer there, and that was one Oddish, a Beedrill EX, and a Decidueye Jax.
Oh, it's an N only from the Trader's Mail. Not sure if Kai was going to set up anything this turn here.
Does have a Gloom.
Alright, there is a gloom. There's something. Perhaps, I think he's trying to fish out his Floatstone here for his gloom before he set up his Vileplume. But he's still stuck in the active position.
Oh, we see 2 Shamans in his hand. That's not something you want to see.
Yeah. His hand is kind of stacked and I don't think he has much. Yeah. It's just a pass. So Jitmin getting another turn of item cards. Essentially the more aggressive deck here. So he probably is going to benefit a lot in this turn 2. Alright, see a Sycamore here by Jitmin. So comes down the Desi. So that's 2 Desi to IGXs now on the field for Jitmin. Trader's Mill getting another Sycamore. And Jitmin's deck is essentially thinned out here.
Yeah, definitely a huge difference from game 1
Yeah,
when Kaiwen's turn 1 Vileplume lock.
Slow game here in game 2 compared to the high speed game 1. So things have taken us, slow down here. But Jitmin is definitely in firm control right now.
Let's see, DC onto
Nope, not deciding it. I think he wanted his Lugia to have a Fighting Fury belt before he started attacking, but he already has a Floatstone on it. So maybe not as comfortable using the Floatstone Lugia to attack. Perhaps, Highwind has pretty much nothing on his field. Not even a threat. Meanwhile, Jitmin's side of the field here is heavily loaded with damage. Damage output, I mean.
So we see a retreat from
Yep.
the Lugia into the Decidueye Jax,
Alright.
getting 40 onto the Rowlet. Yep, the
So,
pressure is definitely on.
Kaiwen lost his Gloom now. Oddish and Gloom, and he discarded one Oddish earlier.
And also discarded the
Revitalizer.
Revitalizer.
So a lot of key factors here going through game 2. Yep. I think Kaiwen was fishing for the Flowstone earlier, but I think he just didn't get it.
Yeah, essentially any sort of evolution Pokemon would have been welcome. Any Dartrix especially. So you should be able to get Dartrix out this time.
Yeah.
But you would know that there isn't any more Oddish in his deck.
Yeah, exactly. Not sure what happened to his second Revitalizer. So perhaps there is a second. Oh,
There you are.
is,
So there is a second Revitalizer here.
Alright. Yeah. Just
Grabs
thinking
the-
about it.
Yeah, so grabs the Decidueye GX. So you would get one out right now.
So that Oddish is now like it's a gemstone. It's the last Oddish, basically. Well, there's still Hollow Hunt GX, but it'll be slightly too slow, I think, for tempo.
Gets to use an N here. Probably fishing for some energy. I would think he'd be fishing for a DCE to at least get his Lugia EX powered up.
He needs to start putting out damage on the field of Jitmin. Since Kaiwen's already on the back foot, not having Valplum Lock, and Jitmin is a more aggressive deck, so this is slightly a tough game 2 here for Kaiwen. Jitmin is cruising in control, definitely.
So we don't see any DCE.
Ultra Ball from the Trainer's Mail.
We'll be playing it.
And I think he is playing the Ultra Ball, but not sure what to discard. It's like, it's either discarding a Rainbow Energy or Decidueye GX. Yeah, he's going to discard the Rainbow Energy.
Yeah, so essentially he can get out the Dartrix. Oh no, he actually goes for a Shaman.
I think he doesn't have a supporter, I'm not sure, for the next turn.
I did see him have a Sycamore in hand, so I think he's just trying to fish
The
for
DCE.
the DCE, yeah.
Kaiwen digging deep. Alright, Flowstone onto the Lugia. And set up for 4. And he does get his DCE.
So that's key here,
Yep.
essentially giving him quite a bit of damage output against that Decidueye.
Yeah, exactly. Another Ultra Ball from the Trainer's Mail. Not sure, I don't think he's playing it.
Well, if he has enough cards, he can still go for the second Decidueye GX on his bench. What completely turning the game around from having nothing on board to essentially having everything he needs.
Yep, exactly. So see a Feather Arrow onto the bench, Decidueye GX, and an Arrow Ball onto the active Decidueye GX.
That's for 100 damage.
So essentially you just need 2 Feather Arrows and an Arrow Ball to take the knockout. Or you just have another DCE. But that's a bit of an all-in play here, but if Kaiwen does go for it.
Yeah, and I think that would be definitely swiftly punished by Jitmin's Arrow Ball on the Lugia EX as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. You wouldn't want to be stacking all your energy into just one singular attacker.
Yeah. Lugia only has 170 HP, so it is still, you know, it's a big basic EX, but 170 HP is not that high anymore. It's not a big bulk of HP, not like this Decidueye GX with 240 HP.
Oh, the power creep.
Oh, Trainer's Mail, nothing from Jitmin. I think his deck is essentially thinned out here. Ultra Ball. Now Jitmin is running out of resources here, but he's actually in good position because of his board state.
There's a Sycamore. So Kaiwen expecting Jitmin's deck, knowing that Jitmin did go very aggressive on his draws. Probably counting down the number of turns he has left. Which could be a win condition here for Kaiwen as well, stalling the game long enough to actually take the game in that manner.
Yeah, he can. It's definitely a win condition, but we have to see how Jitmin does his turn here first. But essentially trying to deck out opponent's Decidueye IGX deck. It's gonna be a big task ahead because Feather Arrows will be flying everywhere despite it's on the bench. So we still have to see. So Jitmin assessing his resources left. I'm not sure what else he needs because I think he got most of the energies required. Now he's just piling onto the Lugia, I assume. Or he
No,
just
but yeah. So
yeah.
I think what Jimin needs right now is bench space.
Yep, exactly. His two Shamins, yep, they did help him in the early game to set up, but now it's being sort of a liability.
So we see a retreat from the active
Oh,
Decidueye
all
Jax.
right. Interesting play.
Yep. Goes for Federo,
Yep.
snipes onto the bench, Decidueye
He's probably
Jax.
going for a Hollow Hunt. Yep, Hollow Hunt. He's just trying to preserve his Decidueye GX, trying to deny the price from Kaiwen. But Kaiwen could, perhaps try to stall out the game. Because Jitmin is losing his resources there by retreating, losing a DCE, but he does get it back from Hollow Hunt. Question is, does he have enough in the bank? Or deck, I should say.
So Trainer's Mail not grabbing anything. Comes an Ultra Ball from Kaiwen. Bring out the Dartrix.
Oh, and
Yep, gets the Decidueye Jax out.
this is quite crucial here because Jitmin just used Hollow Hunt GX,
Yep.
so his 3 cards now are being shuffled back into the deck. And most importantly, it was a DCE, so the one that he discarded, he got it back with Hollow Hunt. Well, now he has to redraw them, but I think he does got it, yeah. I think he got it in his hand here.
Key thing here, we do see the Vileplume back in Kaiwen's hand. And he did expend as many items as he could in the previous
Yeah.
round, previous turn, right? I think we could definitely see the Vileplume coming down again.
Vileplume here is a slightly too late here, but maybe if he's opting for the deck out play here, then yes, the Vileplume could be a play.
Do you see a retreat from Kaiwen here? No? But I think definitely a huge comeback here from Kaiwen. Being able
it is
to
possible.
stabilize his board and
I think Jitmin overextended a little bit, just a tiny bit. Maybe give it enough wiggle room here for Kaiwen to take over. Because it is Jitmin's game to lose here in game 2.
with the start he had, I would definitely think that he was expecting to get into a very quick lead.
But Kaiwen himself, not much left in the tank. I think it's maybe Price, Gloom, or Vileplume. Not so sure.
No, he has a Vileplume in his hand and there is a Gloom on the
Alright.
bench, yeah.
Alright.
It's a matter of whether he wants to introduce.
Yeah, I think he's just thinking of the play of decking out. But
Oh, so he's not going for the Gloom. Yeah, you could be right with the Gloom being Price, perhaps. He does grab the Rowlet. When he has no bench space, so...
yeah, because I think he needs a Hollow Hunt GX, but I think it's a bit too late here.
No, I think it's fine though. I think it's because he has won the first game. And
Yeah,
we,
he has that one game in hand right now
Yeah.
by Kaiwen.
So we should be hitting about a halfway point in terms of time of the round.
So is he a Feather Arrow?
onto
2D
the
active, yep.
Yep. Now, do note that the longer this goes, both Jitmin's Desi to IGX here, I think they'll get knocked out if this continues here. This Lugia EX piling on the pressure. You know, you could just attach a second DCE and just use Deep Hurricane. Oh, suddenly it's knocked out.
Yeah, I would think that. Oh, do note that Kaiwan has already used his GX attack as well.
Oh, alright.
Grabbing the Oddish from the
Oh,
discard.
yeah, exactly.
So both players are, well, without their GX attack.
But
The
didn't he use
exhaust.
Revitalizer for the Oddish?
No, I actually remember him getting it with an N and a Decidua GX.
Alright.
Yeah.
Maybe I forgot about it.
Yeah.
In that case, a bit more lackluster in terms of resources left by Kaiwan here.
Not too sure where that second Gloom is.
Oh, he does have a Revitalizer. I think it's discard pile or hand.
Yeah, that's his discard.
Alright.
Alright, so it was my bad. That was the previous game.
Yep, so I was right.
Yeah. It's a bit difficult when the GX markers get moved
Yeah, exactly.
back and forth.
Yep. So this Hollow Hunt here is important to get back. I think the Revitalizer as well. I'm not sure if he takes it.
And interesting here, yeah, Kaiwan grabs the Revitalizer and 2 ends.
I think he's trying to win with prize knockout here. Because I think he senses blood in the water on the 2 Decidueye GX there. Damage heavily.
No, what I meant was trying to punish Jinmin from playing any more cards because Jinmin's deck is much thinner
Yeah.
than Kaiwan.
Yeah.
So essentially ends would win him the game
Yeah, by deck
just
out.
by virtue of deck out, yeah?
Exactly. Yeah, and I think Jitmin kind of noticed like, oh dear, my deck.
No, I'm pretty sure he's very well aware. I think it's Kaiwan realizing that, you know, if...
Yeah, it's a way of winning here. That opportunity arose here.
So we see a Razor Leaf from the Decidueye GX.
I'm not sure if Jitmin can take enough prizes before he decks out. But Kaiwan needs to get like a good stall here in order to get that deck out. If not, I don't see how he can last with this Decidueye GX piling on the Razor Leaf damage here. Alright, so this is the big turn here, should be, by Kaiwan after a Hollow Hunt GX. And he opts for an Ultra Ball.
Not sure what else he can grab.
Alright, discarding a Shamin. Probably want to thin out his hand, probably before end.
Before, oh, he's also discarding the Valplum, but he does have the Revitalizer.
Yeah, he does have the Revitalizer.
Yep, so I'm just seeing 2 Dartrix in the discard. It's probably going back in. Goes for an end.
Alright, he's just thinning out his hand here. Trying to disrupt as much of Jitmin here. So Jitmin will be drawing, I think, a little bit more than he would like. But this has to go on slightly if in order Kaiwan's deck out strategy here to be in effect.
Oh, does get the DCE. Now that's a great draw.
That's a very good draw. So Feather Arrow onto the bench, Decidueye GX.
Yep, setting it up for a 1-hit next turn.
Yep. So
And 90 damage from the Razor Leaf.
So this is the big pressure here because now the 2 Decidueye GX are heavily damaged. And Kaiwan could just get a back-to-back knockouts. Because he still has his Lugia EX ready at the bench. So that he can just sweep with it perhaps. If Jitmin don't get a third attacker ready. Perhaps his Lugia EX, but I don't see any energy. Does have a Lysandre.
Very interesting matchup here today at the Malaysian Pokemon TCG Regional Championships. We are in the finals between Kaiwan of Australia, Jitmin of Singapore.
I think he's opting to play the Lysandra,
Yep,
sorry.
probably
Yep.
going for a stall
Alright.
play on the Decidueye on the bench without any energy on it. Oh
Yep.
no, he goes for
Goes
the
for
Lugia.
Lugia. Alright.
Right, so definitely
He
wanting to get that
is,
threat out
yeah.
all the way.
He's definitely afraid of that Lugia. It's a big threat here.
Yep, and if I'm right, it should be a knockout. 40 damage from Feather Arrow, and then a 90.
Yeah, should be though. Because that is having a float stone on, not a fighting
Yeah,
fairy
it's not
belt.
Fighting Fairy Belt. You wouldn't see a Fighting Fairy Belt from
Yep.
Kaiwan's list.
Alright, Razor Leaf. Takes out the Lugia EX.
Does go for 2 prizes there.
So 6-3 in terms of prizes here. Kaiwan still have 6 prizes in game 2. Jitmin have 3.
Yeah, so the ends are not as effective anymore right now because if Kaiwan wants to win via deck out,
Yeah,
essentially an end to 3 will put more cards back into Jimmin's deck.
exactly.
But at the same time, it's probably the only thing he can do. Yep, so he does go for the end.
I think Kaiwan wants to deny Jitmin another DCE. I think he's just afraid that DCE goes onto that Lugia EX. He can just sweep whatever's left in Kaiwan's field. Because I don't think he wants to continue attack with the Decidueye GX because they're both heavily damaged. And I think he wants to preserve them for their Feather Arrow ability.
So Kaiwan seems to be reacting in a way that looks quite disappointed.
Not sure where's his SP on EX2. Alright, that's in his hand. But does he have the energy?
Yeah, so an Espeon Jax here would get him 2 prizes, but
Yeah, immediately 2 prizes.
yeah,
But it's a bit of an overkill here because there's a lot of damage stacked onto the Decidueye GX. I think Kaiwan's original plan was to just use Lugia EX and just sweep all those Decidueye GX initially. But that plan
we do
got
see.
scraped.
All right, so we do see the Espeon come down. Do we see a retreat from Kaiwan?
Let the arrow onto the Shaman EX. And here we go. Miracle
Oh, now
Shine.
this is going to be quite a huge turn here.
Yep.
Essentially removing two of the huge Decidueye GXs off Jitmin's field. Grabbing 2 prizes.
Yep,
And-
2 prizes. And no more Decidueye GX.
Yeah, so
Jitmin
Jitmin has to bring back those Decidueye GXs back to his hand. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. But I don't know if Jitmin has enough resources left in his deck.
He was end down to 3 as well.
Yeah, so
So
he's,
this could be this a very big swing here for
yeah.
Kaiwan.
So that denial of the DCE2 from all the ends, I think that was quite important here. Now that Lugia is just, he has nothing. It's just a float stone. But if it has a DCE, it still can attack and threaten a knockout onto the Espeon EX later on.
So we do see a
Sycamore. Oh,
Sycamore. Yep, so it does draw to 2 DCEs. Is
Alright.
this Jitmin's way back into the game?
Oh, he has a Revitalizer.
Wouldn't just go all in on the Lugia right now? Oh, hang on. So he also has a
So Espeon.
Espeon Wars,
Yeah,
essentially.
Espeon Wars. But not the GX War. It's an Espeon EX War. Which
Alright.
they do
It is-
nothing to each other.
Now, interesting here to note that Espeons are weak to themselves.
Oh, double Revitalizer. That's huge. Getting back the Decidueyes. And the Rowlets. And the Dartrix, of course. So I think Jitmin can get one full line back into his onto the field. One full Decidueye GX.
Now, the interesting thing to note here is that SP and EX are actually weak to each other, and its secondary attack, Side Shock, for 70 damage, for 1 Psychic and 2 colors, reads this attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. Um, could be key in this matchup, essentially.
Oh, and Miraculous Shine.
Let's get rid of 2 Dartrixes
So
from Kaiwen's field, putting Jimin down to 1 prize left.
Jitmin just returned a favor to Kaiwen,
Yeah.
literally.
So you know what? If if you want to do it to me, I'm going to do it back to you.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you're not the only one that has an SP on EX, man. I have one too. But it was quite clutch that Jitmin got everything back
So
after that. And,
Kaiwen just introduced 2 more Decidueye GXs as well.
so, re- same from Kaiwen. It's like, yo, I can bring back my Decidueye GX as well. Yeah, I up one more. I up your game. You bring one full Decidueye GX back, I bring 2.
So it's definitely very interesting here in the finals of the region championships here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
But Jitmin is on 1 price, you know. So basically, I think, is that a Gloom or a Oddish that's on Kaiwen's field?
As an Oddish.
Oddish. So that is in big danger right now. Lysandre.
A Lysander stall onto the Mewtwo.
He still needs that.
He still needs a Gloom, essentially, right?
He needs to survive.
So there's a weakness policy attached to that Mewtwo?
So, Jitmin only has 1 Decidueye GX, so I don't think he can get a knockout into the Oddish for this
Not
turn.
yet.
But the turn after
Kaiwen,
that.
yeah. So
So-
Kaiwen goes for 40 more damage
Oh.
onto the Shaman.
Alright. But the thing is, Kaiwen still has 4 prizes.
Okay, that's a DCE on the Mewtwo.
Yeah,
Jimin
there,
goes
there you go.
for
You see,
another snipe. Yep.
He's going for that Oddish. He's gunning for it. Where's your Gloom now? Ooh, and that's a Psychic here. Oh, not much left in the deck here by Kaiwen in game 2. And
So
Jinmin
we
takes
go
game
to
2.
yep. So we go to a game 3.
Oh, looks like both showcase their SP on EX. Came into battle. Essentially, Kaiwen nearly had the upper hand, but Jitmin sends it right back down with his own SP on EX.
So right down to the wire yet again, ladies and gentlemen. We will have a game 3 in these finals.
A little bit slower in game 2, but still an interesting game overall with the SP on EX using Miraculous Shine. So
Yeah, well, so if you're just joining us, welcome. We are the Rainbow Wing, bringing you coverage of the finals of the regional championships here in Malaysia. It's been a long day. It's been a long 2 days, and now a game 3 finals.
yeah,
Right.
it
It's
comes
gonna be
down to this.
Yeah, it's going to be a very exciting one. Definitely a finals that we probably didn't expect.
Exactly.
Decidueye Valplum being popular, of course, but not the Decidueye variant that Jimin is piloting
Yeah,
here
the
today.
more aggressive version.
So, yep, players are already very quickly into the game. Let's
Right.
sit back there.
So we're down to the final game. Last game of the Pokemon TCG Regionals here in Malaysia for 2017. Out of 134 Masters, these are your top 2.
Yeah, but after 8 grueling rounds of Swiss.
Nearly 12 hours of playthrough as well.
Yep, we ended right after midnight yesterday.
Hit the midnight oil.
Yep, see Shaman, and yep, looks like the judges are introducing the trophies to the screen.
Hopefully they don't lose their concentration here. Maybe it's a just to tempt them, you know, it's like, yo, you can win this. Either of you.
So interesting to see Kaiwan is actually presented with a Val Plume in turn 1.
I'm not sure whether he wants to do it that quickly. He hasn't.
Just showing it to Jinmin saying that, you know what, I have this and I really don't want to play it.
It's kind of dilemma right now because he hasn't set up anything.
He will be able to play the Ultra Ball.
This is the last game, so basically this is could be the last setup here for the small plume. But he is discarding it. Um, he does have access to Revitalizer perhaps in the deck, so he could get it back. No problem. So
Yeah,
I
but
think
should
he's
be
prioritizing his setup first.
yeah, but he should be looking out for his Val Plume anyway, in the hope that it's not priced. The second
Yes.
one at least. So DC come down on the Espion, a Dartrix, and a Sycamore.
Okay.
Another outlet. I think it's a great opening start here from Kaiwan.
Such great opening.
Now we can definitely go for the Valplume right now, but I'm not too sure if if it is in his best interest.
Yeah. But I think he is
Uh,
trying to see what else he can grab with his Shaman.
yeah, so we're grabbing another 4 more
Yeah.
cards.
Oh, 2 Trainer's Mail and a Dartrix.
Yep, I think it's a perfect to back, and got the
Oh,
Flowstone as well.
he got a Flowstone, so that's great. He has another Trainer's Mail. I think he's hoping for a Revitalizer to get the Valplume. Yeah, so
Clever ball, and
he has an Ultra Ball.
yeah, we're definitely gonna grab that straight away,
Yeah.
bringing out the Decidua Jax.
Exactly. But it depends which one he wants. Decidui or Valplume. If it's not priced.
Now I would think that Kaiwan checked for the Valplume
Yeah.
on his first search. Yep, going back in again.
Yeah, I think he was fishing for the Revitalizer earlier.
Yep, goes for the Ultra Ball. Interesting, the Valplume. Yep, he
Alright.
got the turn 1 lock.
And Jetmin should be staring down the abyss. Just a solo Lugia EX. Facing a big setup board here by Kaiwan. And a Valplume lock.
With the Flowstone on the Valplume as
Yes.
well.
And I don't know what Jetman's gonna do here.
Well, he can Arrow Ball the Espion, and that's
Oh,
definitely dealing a lot of damage.
Oh my goodness.
And that's all he's done.
That's an arrow ball.
So he tops deck the Revitalizer, and it's just,
It's a bit too late.
yeah.
It's a bit tad too late. But so far, great start from Kaiwan.
Yeah, definitely. I think the gamble going with Valplume is definitely paying off.
Yep.
Jimin had a dead hand, but essentially now it's whether Kaiwan is able to grab out as many
Yeah.
the CDY GXs as he can.
Now it's just gonna get the owls out. But I don't think he get any. He got
Yeah,
any?
I don't think he got any. So he's gonna retreat the.
Alright.
He's retreating the Espion.
And he's promoting the Valplume as a big
Yep.
tank. So Jitmin, he does get 2 Rowlets down. A bit of a stall here. I mean,
And an N. So Kaiwan definitely
Alright.
happy to see that.
alright. I think he's definitely relieved. Because I think that's not what Kaiwan wanted from the first end. Didn't get much, it's actually. But the Lugia is able to use an arrow ball here into the Valplume. So slowly but surely it will get feathered arrow down. So game 3. off like hot potatoes. Oh, third energy onto the Lugia EX. I think Jitman is just going one way or the highway.
Another N, the third N in quick succession.
And I think it's all about who can disrupt who. But Jitman is, I think, is playing correctly to what he's facing currently, because it is locked essentially now. He's just using brute force of the Lugia EX basically right now. Oh, Kaiwan does get 2 Decidueye GX.
Yep, so definitely going to pile some damage back onto Jitmin.
See, fed the arrow into the Lugia EX. It is the biggest threat.
And goes for, yep, Halohan. Grabbing his DCEs back. Now the pressure swings back against Jitmin. Kaiwan able to weather the arrow ball storm.
It's a slight arrow ball storm. Thank goodness it wasn't a hurricane yet. And 3 Rowlets on the field, but no evolution. Jitmin is, I think he's draw dead. He just drew dead. If that Lugia goes down, I think that's it. There's not much of a wall left for Jitmin.
So I would think Kaiwan is definitely grabbing 2 prizes here from the Lugia. But Jitmin has already lined up the Espion to take a prize back as well.
Yep, so takes a knockout here. 2 prizes.
And he passes. Jitmin didn't get the energy.
Oh my goodness. This is huge. That is a big turn.
Initiative back to Kaiwan.
Yeah, he's just gonna take out the EXs and slowly take out the Rowlets. Oh, Kaiwan on the brink here. He is on the brink. He hasn't taken a prize.
Takes 2 more prizes there again. Would this be a clean sweep here?
I think it's done. I think it's done and dusted. You
Not
know?
yet, not yet. It's still... And that's it! The
Yeah.
finals done! Kaiwan
Kaiwan.
takes the game.
And it's your Malaysian
Regional
TCG
champion.
Regional champion of 2017. Great effort by Jitman, but essentially just did through.
Just drawing dead.
Yeah.
The Balpul lock by Kaiwan paying off. I would think essentially stalling the Decidueye 2-box deck to a halt.
Yeah, exactly. But man, that's final few plays and the final few turns. That was essential for Kaiwan. I think he's ecstatic right now. I think he didn't even expect to make it this far into the tournament. Nonetheless, winning it all the way.
So we do know that Kaiwan's deck essentially, in a way, had 6 dead cards of sorts.
Yeah.
He said it himself that he definitely would have thought that Jinmin had the upper hand in this matchup.
Yeah, exactly.
Having more outs to more aggressive resources. But the turn 1 lock in game 1 and in game 3, clutch.
Yes, it was turn 1 lock and Jitman just can't do anything.
Well, that's the end of our regionals journey here in Quill City Mall, Kuala Lumpur. My name is Aaron.
I'm Darren.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We are from the Rainbow Wing. Coverage was provided to you here today and yesterday from a team of brilliant individuals and a brilliant team as well. And definitely thanks to all those involved, contributing their resources, contributing their efforts.
That time.
And essentially, we would definitely have a meta snapshot for you guys as well. So in-depth look at the entire event coming up on our website real soon. But for now, from us, thank you so much. Do stay tuned. We may have a live stream of the prize presentation for you guys as well. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Alright. See you around.